I have two different stories that I was able to use to fill up my emotional tears cup. Okay, I got this message. Here's another interesting one. The comments are so hostile. The emotionals hate us for not being miserable. Here you have a woman being feminine, fit, and friendly while being married, and it's still wrong. LOL, if we're single and living a soft life, they hate it. If we're feminine, fit, and friendly and married, loving a soft life, they hate it. Talk about being damned either way. So I'm going to talk about that story, and then I'm going to talk to you guys about Then I'm going to tell y'all about this woman who was relaying her divorce story, and the emotionals jumped in her comment section talking about how he was better off anyway. So stay tuned for all of this. First, have you seen this video? The caption is, "He gave you the soft life you dreamed of." And they are a couple, they are engaged or married, but the emotionals jump in the comments, and you would think that she was like being extra negative. It was so weird. Before I show you guys those comments, here are some of their pictures from their engagement photo shoot. This is a good looking couple. They are really cute together. Watch this cute video. Please explain to me why the emotionals are upset at this girl. Look at her. She just looks so happy. She's in pink. She's feminine. She's with her man. She's smiling, but people are mad. Explain. Now, some of the comments, which don't match the post at all. Soft life equals delusion. Most of the time, women always had to work, especially black women. It's not the man's job to make you happy and submissive. Those are all personal issues. What does the man get for providing this soft life? Now, if it were the flip side and the woman was independent and a boss babe, they get mad at that too. So a woman's like, I bet. Let me just lean into this softness, and now it's a problem as well. There's literally nothing that a black woman can post on the internet and not get dragged for. Being happy is enough to get dragged. Afro Deja Vu says, a feminine, respectful, and appreciative woman, I suppose. The same that when a man gets good treatment, it makes him want to protect his woman even more. And then Chocolate Dream said, the comments from black men are terrifying. It's like black women are pack mules, unworthy of love, joy, and happiness. And then Dre responds to Chocolate Dream, if I'm being real, many are unworthy of it, but we aren't going to focus on them. It's the entitlement and the attitude behind these demands, along with the lack of work on your end to ensure that you have this soft life. So he knows what she's demanding and that she's not bringing anything. He just knows because he saw a 10-second clip of this woman laughing and running and being with her man. This person says, I love how you just admitted your limited view of not deserving is for black women only. A man's job is to provide and a woman's job is to take care of the kids at home. This is how our community has lost its way because the men who are supposed to lead aren't capable of that. And so when women are like, I bet I'm going to do it, I'm going to handle this, then they run and they talk about how black women are emasculating or black women are masculine. And it's like, literally, they literally should admit that black women can't win. This man says, when they say soft life, it is usually translated to getting a man with money. And this person says, you're not wrong. Coffee Bean Brown said, you forgot a keyword, generous man with money. And the thing is like, why don't people just pair up with the folks that want to pair up with them? There are 50-50 women. There are women that want to have partners in the home. There are women that want to be submissive and traditional. Just pair up with the people that you want to pair up with versus getting on the internet crying your emotional tears. This person says, I was trying to figure out what and why is this example of living now becoming the standard for men and women that doesn't deserve it? How do you know they don't deserve it? Why not? It's not necessarily a standard. Everybody can just kind of live how they want to. How many men didn't get her to the soft life before one man folded with willingness? All glory to her, but you can't expect every man to do this. No one is expecting every man to do this because not every woman expects this life. You pair up with the people who are in alignment with how you believe. So, yeah. They just make up things. I'm just happy everybody is admitting they can be bought. Okay, number one, how do you know she doesn't deserve it? Number two, just because she's a princess doesn't mean she doesn't have her own career and goals. Number 3, every man can't do this, so that man needs to get with a woman who doesn't require him to do these types of things. Period. Just get with the woman who doesn't expect it. You don't have to rail against the women who do. Okay, so I am Char Lopez says, give yourself the soft life you dreamed of. A man will only be a bonus to that. Can you imagine breaking up, having to go back to the life of struggle, set yourself up so you are good either way? Just saying. And then the couple from the video, I guess maybe this is a man. He says, I run a 6-figure business, but I do it because I want to, not because I need to. There you go. This person, I mean, that couple actually jumped back in the comments. I am Char Lopez says, bless you, hun, and I completely get that, love that. I guess I'm talking to the young girls who feel that they need to fully lean on a man without trying to build something of their own, sending nothing more than blessings to you and yours. It is so wild that there's a happy couple on the internet and people still will find a reason to be upset about it. But then, even in a divorce video, you find the Hemotionals have something to say. So this woman, she captures it, telling my husband I want a divorce. She says, I can remember when I told my ex-husband I wanted a divorce. She said that basically she blindsided him. She blindsided him. And this can really go into the nothing reasons I left, and how we have talked about how these people just get blindsided. Like they don't even, like, how could this happen? Despite the fact that many times women are saying things for months or even years, trying to like improve things, until women just say, I bet.
I can remember when I told my ex-husband I wanted a divorce. It was December 2019, and he was completely shocked, completely caught off guard, like dumbfounded, devastated, everything else. But the month before that, November of 2019, I remember very clearly having yet another talk with him about how unhappy I was. But this particular conversation, he was in his man cave room playing video games, which was like his favorite activity. And I go walking in and I tell him, like, I really want to talk about our marriage. Like, I'm not happy. It feels like we're roommates at this point, and I don't really have a partner, blah, blah, blah. This man was wearing his headphones because he was playing with a friend and they like talked to each other. He didn't even take his headphones off. He just pulled it off his right ear. This is almost 4 years ago now. I can still remember he pulled it off his right ear. And he didn't pause the game or stop playing. He continued to play a video game while his wife was standing in front of him, telling him how unhappy she was in the marriage. And I remember when he said to me something about like marriage being forever and whatever. And I said to him, well, maybe some marriages aren't meant to last. And he got so mad at me for saying that. But he didn't stop playing video games to have the conversation with me. And if that doesn't perfectly sum up why I divorced this man, then I don't know what does. And I feel like this is a very common trend. I hear about this type of stuff a lot, where the wife had expressed her concerns for months or even years, and then when she finally says, all right, I've done everything I could do, I want a divorce, then the husband's like, what do you mean? What's happening? I love you. Please don't leave me. Please don't take my kids from me. It's like, bitch, you should have put in effort. You had the opportunity. We give you so many opportunities to do the right thing. You chose not to. This is now the repercussions of your actions. Am I wrong?
She then had a follow-up video like, boy, I really pissed off the middle-aged divorced men last night. So she had 2 videos. If you're on my TikTok page, I will just put her videos in the caption.
Boy, I really pissed off all the middle-aged divorced men last night when I posted about my ex-husband and the end of our marriage and like why I finally was like over it and wanted a divorce. And 95% of the posts from the men were immediately assuming that I'm a money-grubbing whore, because all women are, and that my expectations were obviously too high, and my ex-husband should be allowed to play video games because he works so hard to put a roof over my head, and, you know, he deserves to be happy, and obviously I'm not happy, so I'm trying to make him miserable. And it's just funny that that's the assumption. Like, that's the baseline assumption, that because I'm a woman, my expectations are unrealistic, and that poor man, he's just trying to live his life. Y'all weren't there to see the hours and hours of me begging him to, like, interact with our children, interact with me. You know, it's like he didn't want to be bothered with any part of having a family. He wanted the wife, he wanted the kids on paper, but he didn't want any of the responsibility that came with it. He didn't want to have to actually put in any effort to maintaining that. And it's like, but because I finally, after years of begging him for more, I finally went to leave, I'm a money-grubbing whore. Except I had to write him a check when we got divorced because I made all the money. And yes, I kept the house in the divorce. But you want to know why? It's because the mortgage payment was more than he makes in a month. So he couldn't have kept it if he wanted to. But I also kept all of our marital debt. All of it. He got the paid off truck. He got the paid off vehicle. I kept all of the debt. But yet the assumption is that women are money grubbing whores. Except for my ex-husband literally took everything he could get his hands on, including stealing the jewelry out of my jewelry box during our divorce to pawn it. But yeah, he should be allowed to play video games because it makes him happy. Who cares what other responsibilities he's shirking in the meantime? He let me do everything. I mowed the grass. I was the only one that knew how to use the snowblower. But yes, he was a man and he was trying real hard. So we should just let him keep using me because he meant well. He didn't mean well. He used me every chance he got. I will never forget when I was 7 months pregnant, we were moving, and I was on my hands and knees in the flower beds, mulching the flower beds before the photographer could come and take like the pictures to put the house on the market. And he sat on the porch eating lunch and watching me. 7 months pregnant, my big old pregnant belly hanging down, and I was still doing all the yard work. My man now stops me when I try to take the trash out to the trash can myself. So I'm not a man hater, not by a long shot. I found a good one, and I'm keeping him, and I do everything I can to make him happy. I cook him all his favorite things, and I make sure the house is stocked with all the stuff he likes, and he doesn't have to beg me for sex. Not once. Not once has this man had to beg me for sex. He can have it whenever he wants. Because he's stepped up to the responsibility and he treats me well, and so I treat him well. And we're happy. Because he's doing what he needs to do and he's being responsible, and I'm doing what I need to do and I'm being responsible, and we are honoring each other and we are treating each other with respect, and nobody's using anybody. And it works because that's the way it's supposed to be.
Okay, so Unbreakable says he's probably playing his video games in peace now. And Joanne said, after failing to put his family first. And Marcus Vasquez says, facts. I'm much happier. Peace. Scott also says he's happier now. Trishy responds to Scott saying he's happier without someone meeting all his needs. Now he has to cook his own meals, wash his own clothes, and clean his own space. And Scott says, yes, yes. And Fred says, sounds like peace. Troubleman says he was probably doing all that anyway with her around. He is free to be fruitful and multiply like God designed men to do. Trish says, sir, she was doing everything, including the yard work, yard maintenance, and your comment is riddled with misogyny and entitlement. Bill Monroe said, never use anybody else's behavior or action to justify yours. No one else but you is responsible for your happiness. But no one has to stay in an unhappy relationship. You really don't. So, this person says, so right. Holly says, depends on what caused her unhappiness. Without any detail, you are assuming, but because she is telling her husband, I would gather that the husband was doing things or not doing things to hurt the relationship. And then Derek says, or after years of his feelings being ignored, he has withdrawn and accepted the fact that he and his family are held hostage to her inability to love herself. He just created that. Holly's like, was that her situation? I'm sorry if it was. Look, we know it isn't all men who ruin marriages. From this video, it looks like she tried to communicate and he could not stop gaming to listen. And then we got the man hitting with the hard-hitting questions. What video game was he playing? And then someone's like, that's the real question. So we're going to end it right there. Like I said, lots of emotional tears. Jump in the comments. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, share. If you made it this far, go ahead and hit the like button.